chief guest, Mr. Raghuji, PS, Director, Directorate of Industry of Odisha, Honorable Chairman, ICC State Council, Mr. S.K. M.C. Thomas, S.K. Sahu, Director in charge, MSME DI, Cut, Ministry of MSME, Government of India, Sri J.B. Pani, ICC Odisha State Council, Sri Ramchandra Sahu, DGM Odisha, RO NABARD, Sri Rajiv Shekhar, Convener ICC Odisha Finance and Taxation, Sri A.K. Kamra, Advisor Procurement Policy and Contract Framework and Nodal Officer for the State of Odisha, Sri Mohit Gupta, Co-Convener ICC Odisha MSME Committee, Sri Sudhanshu Pradhan, GM Business Facilitator, and who will be giving us the presentation from GEM. It is extremely pleasing to be here today for the opening of the 7th day e-seminar on public procurement opportunity for MSMEs through GM. The decision to call this conference was made last July when the ICC and Board of GEM decided to hold this series of conferences where the business representatives of MSME industries and also to provide a platform for them for easy procurement. There is no better than in chambers which could take us to reach the greater height, and this session is certainly going to inspire us all during the conference. May I now request Mr. M.C. Thomas to deliver his welcome address. Mr. M.C. Thomas, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Roy. Good afternoon, everyone, distinguished guests, panel members, delegates. It's my honor and privilege to welcome all of you for this program today. On behalf of the Indian Chamber of Commerce and the Orissa State Council, I would like to extend each one of you a very warm welcome to this program. First of all, on behalf of ICC and my team in Orissa, I would like to express a grand welcome to our chief guest, Sri Raghuji, IAS, Director, Directorate of Industries, MSME Department, Government of Orissa. Thank you, sir, for being with us, and we really look forward to listening to you. I welcome Dr. S.K. Sahu, Director in Charge, MSME Development Institute, Cuttack. He's representing the Ministry of Government, and thank him for working with us, being here today. I warmly welcome Sri Ramchandra Sahu, DGM, Orissa, RO NABARD, Sri Rajiv Shekhar Sahu, Convener, my colleague in the panel, colleague in the State Council, ICC Finance and Taxation Committee, Sri Mohit Gupta, Co-Convener, ICC Orissa MSME Committee, Sri A.K. Kamra, Advisor Procurement Policy and Contract Framework, Nodal Officer for the State of Orissa, my co-chair, Sri J.B. Pani, and all the Orissa State Council members, and Sri Sudhanshu Pradhan, GEM Business Facilitator for the state. The MSME sector contributes significantly to value addition and employment generation. You all know it is like the backbone of our economy. The unique feature of MSMEs is that they are widely dispersed across sectors in different parts of our economy, and they contribute significantly to take India to the global markets. In Orissa itself, we have a vibrant MSME community, and there is, the second largest employment generator in the state, next only to agriculture. The MSME sector is responsible for about 40% of the exports and 45% of the total manufacturing output in India. The sector has also been the focus of the government, as indicated by the industrial policies in the past, and also the MSME development policy of 2016. Altogether, there are 400,000 MSMEs established in the state, with an investment of about 19,000 crores and providing employment to over 1.5 million people. Any business, the most important. Now, many of these MSMEs, being small and resource constrained, does not have ability to market their products and services to the customers. So it is very important for us to use technology, use the forums like this to help meet this important requirement. And that is why the government has launched the e-marketplace GEM, a marquee initiative to usher an era of e-governance in the country. GEM is an online end-to-end marketplace reform that provides an open, efficient, and transparent solution to public procurement by state and central governments. In the last 4 years, if you see, the value of the public procurement through GEM has been around 50,000 crores. Of all the procurement made in GEM, a significant over 60% was carried out by MSMEs, a startup and women entrepreneurs. At present, over 300,000 vendors are registered in this platform. So this itself is already a huge opportunity for us. And in the coming days, I'm sure this is going to grow many-fold. Prime Minister during this Independence Day reiterated the vision of being vocal for local. And that is also the theme for our today's session, and stressed on the government's vision for Atmanirbhar Bharat. Thus, in order to facilitate the local manufacturing and also in accordance with the Prime Minister's vision, the government is launching GEM 4.0, anchored in the unified procurement system, including functionaries of the other public procurement portals, provide economies of scale, dissemination of the best practices, and lead to efficiencies of price discovery for our MSMEs. It will allow big buyers like central public sector enterprises, railways, defense, etc. also to come and procure from GEM, and all their procurement needs and functionaries will be met through this portal. So this is going to grow. And with this, with the new 4.0, GEM 4.0, MSMEs that are hugely hit by the COVID are going to get a good opportunity to come back to business and to grow their ability to reach their customers. So the MSME sellers available on the portal at present is about 25%, but their contribution in terms of order value is over 50%. If the MSME sellers are increased to 50%, the order values are likely to be definitely more than 80%. So there is huge opportunities for our MSME colleagues, and hence the focus on this portal is to increase the number of sellers of goods as well as service providers, so that many more customers can reach out and take benefit of this. PSUs have demanded the induction of 30,000 product categories in GEM portal. At the present, there are about 8,000. So I'm sure today's session will delve into the opportunities, and we have the right people around us today for taking this forward. I believe this session will really be a very fruitful one for all our stakeholders. And once again, I thank on behalf of the Orissa team, all the organizers and all the delegates and the important guests who have joined us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC Thomas, for your welcome address. Now I would request Mr. P. Pani, co-chairman of the ICC Odisha State Council, for giving the keynote address. Mr. J.B. Pani.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to everyone. My special thanks to Mr. G. Raghu, Director of Industries, Mr. Ramachandra Sahu, DGM Orissa Regional Office, Mr. Kamra, Mr. Pradhan, and of course, our Chairman of ICC Odisha Council, Mr. Thomas, our core member, Mr. Rajiv K. Sahu, and of course, our co-convener of the Odisha MSME panel, Mr. Mohit Gupta. We all know the importance of MSME to the economy of the country, and especially of a developing country like India. We have to realize that we go on saying that the MSME is the backbone of the economic strength of the country. But however, nearly only 10% of MSMEs come into the formal ambit and are able to source finance and other facilities. The main two pain points of MSMEs, one is of finance, the other and equally important, if not more and more important, is the market. This public procurement opportunities, because all said and done, government is the largest single procurer of the country. So once this GEM portal comes in and all the MSMEs are able to register there, a big market opens up for them. And also equally important, they come into the fold because the GST and other things, once it is all formalized, the billing and all is formalized, then it is easier for the MSME sector to access finance. They get credibility. That is the single biggest important thing that the MSME needs. So I would like to leave it at that, saying that this is a great initiative. Our chairman, Mr. Thomas, has already sort of highlighted what it can do. And what we really need is a complete idea about it, which we are going to sort of gain in the next few minutes by the presentations of Mr. Kamra and Mr. Pradhan. And of course, we'll have some insightful address from Dr. Sahu, Dr. S.K. Sahu, and also Mr. Rajiv Sahu. Thank you. And I bid goodbye.
Thank you so much, sir, for your deliverables. I now request Sri Raghu Ji, IAS, our chief for his deliberations. Mr. G. Raghu.
Mr. Pani, thank you, Mr. Roy, and thank you, Mr. Thomas, for inviting me to this deliberation. As we all have rightly pointed out, MSMEs constitute the bulk of the employment scenario in the state, in Odisha as well as in all other states. And government being the biggest procurement agency, the biggest procurer of goods, government has to play a major role in supporting the MSMEs, whether it be the government agencies directly or through the PSUs. So I would just like to put forward before the House how our MSMEs are faring in terms of working with the GEM portal. What are the issues being faced? What is the feedback from the general managers of the district industry center? Who are the people working in the ground? How they are able to resolve these differences? And what are the nature of problems in terms of dispute resolution and all that come to us? So first and foremost, GEM has been here for the last 4 years. I think 2016 onwards it has started. But in the last 1.5 years, we have seen a lot of traction on the portal. Portal has vastly got itself a makeover done. It has become very user-friendly and supported by the directions of the government, both government of Odisha as well as government of India, that all the government agencies should first make their procurement on the GEM portal. If and only if the particular item is not available on the GEM portal, even after making a reasonable number of attempts, then you are advised to go for a kind of a bid, national bid or whatever, competitive bidding process. Otherwise, if it's available on GEM, you are supposed to go for the GEM portal and then you do a reverse auction with price bid and all the other procedures that are associated with that particular procurement procedure. So what is the problem with this particular thing? So MSME should actually be benefiting from it if they are able to register on GEM. Certainly they should be. But one of the major problems is that even though GEM has become very user-friendly, there are certain issues with MSMEs registering on GEM. They still face certain problems. And even though a lot of issues come up before our GMDICs, they are also not able to resolve any of these issues. There are technical issues. I think this has also been brought to the notice of the GEM authorities. They are also frequently improving upon the earlier versions. But these small problems persist. I think we should have a much more robust kind of a technical support system to help those MSMEs who want to register on GEM. It must already be existing. I'm sure it must be existing, but I think we can improve that particular system, because even now a lot of requests come before the IPOs of various DICs. And they try to sort it out, but there are many issues that they cannot find a resolution. So this is the first point. I think we should have a very transparent and a very accessible system wherein the MSMEs can ask and get in the vernacular language, mostly in the vernacular language, if it is an Odia entrepreneur, he or she should be able to get get his enterprise registered in a very simple manner without the usual paraphernalia associated with it. So that is the first thing. Second thing, what has government done to incentivize procurement on GEM? As far as government offices are concerned, recently the DOPT has brought out a notification saying that the PAR, the performance assessment report of government officers, will also have a particular component which says that if that particular officer has made use of GEM, there will be a particular mark assigned to him or her. So, for a government officer, PAR, as you know, is a very important thing. So, persons who promote GEM will be facilitated in having a better score. That's a major thing that government has done. I think it will also become operational very soon. So government officers will also be incentivized to purchase more and more from the GEM portal. That is the second thing. So coming to the next part, many of our MSME friends, I think they will also deliberate here, have said that traders are also allowed on GEM. So let's suppose I am a furniture manufacturer who has a small unit in Cuttack or in Koraput. I have to compete with a trader who also has a Udyam registration but who has a agency from a major national player. So I am a small MSME manufacturing furniture, but I am competing with a trader who has the franchisee of a all India, pan India organization. So it's very difficult. So the level playing field is not there. That is one of the suggestions that have come from some MSME units. So like that conflict also comes before the MSME Facilitation Council also. So in many cases we have to adjudicate cases brought in by traders. Actually, the MSME Facilitation Council is not supposed to take up cases which are brought in by traders. We are supposed to take up the cases of only genuine manufacturing organizations. That is one particular problem that is being flagged. So coming to the issue of payment, which is the lifeline of any MSME. So we all need payments in time. The MSME Act says that the payment should be 45 days, done within 45 days. So GEM, what has GEM done? Let's suppose I do a procurement for delivering projectors to schools all across Odisha. Let's suppose I have a network of 20 schools all across Odisha. I do a procurement for projectors. Now, suppose a manufacturer comes in, he bids on GEM and he wins the bid. What will happen is he has to go to each and every school and make the installment done and generate a crack. And that crack has to be validated by the person on the ground. So many principals might validate crack on various dates. Perfectly valid. They might be doing it in time also. But because of the entire network of schools all across Odisha and because of many principals acting on many different points in time, crack generation might get a bit extended so that the manufacturer might not be able to get payment in the time which he decides. There might be a bit of a delay. So how do we get over this delay? That is something which maybe GEM can work better on. Now GEM has brought out an order saying that if the crack generation is not done within the particular time, particular kind of a fine will be levied on the organization, and that fine will go towards a fund which will support further popularization of GEM. That's a very welcome initiative, no doubt. It's very welcome. So people will be more alert and people will pay the outstanding on time. But still, these kind of issues of crack generation and all still persist, which needs to be improved upon. Now let's come to the threats part. So when an MSME interacts with the public sector unit, it has a threats mechanism in place. We have a threats mechanism in place. We have a Renewable Exchange of India Limited. Even though I don't think many organizations in Odisha make use of that, but at least there are many organizations are active on the threat mechanism. I am not fully aware of what is the mechanism in GEM for an MSME to access threats. So if I am an MSME supplying products on the GEM portal, am I eligible for getting a threat support? Am I eligible for getting financing based on my receivables? That part I am not very sure. There are many experts participating in the deliberation today. So it would be welcome if we can have some kind of a light thrown on that particular part. How do we integrate threats mechanism along with the GEM portal procurement mechanism? Coming to the last part, dispute redressal. So how do you incorporate dispute redressal within GEM? We have an MSME Samadhan where we have the MSME Facilitation Council. But before going to all that, if the disputes can be settled on a mutually cordial basis within the GEM portal itself, that will be very good. Because as you all know, this MSME Samadhan and MSME FCs are long drawn out procedures and it takes time on that particular. So how can we bring in dispute redressal mechanisms within the GEM portal itself? And the last part, which many MSMEs have been telling us about, what does GEM have for manufacturers in Odisha? Let's suppose I am a manufacturer in Odisha. So how does GEM support me? Yes, okay. GEM supports MSMEs all over India. But how does GEM support a manufacturer based in Odisha? If a government of Odisha organization bids for an item, how can we make it more favorable for MSMEs based in Odisha? This is also a concern expressed by many MSMEs. The government is also actively seized of this particular part, and I can at this stage I can only say that we are completely aware of this particular concern, and we are working on what can be done to achieve this particular. I can only say this at this particular point of time, but I would like to assure all the panelists that we are working on this particular problem. How can we give incentive to make in Odisha products within GEM itself? So these are a few points that came to my mind today. We are trying to encourage many MSMEs to enroll on GEM, and all our GMPSs are also actively seized of this particular issue, and they are also trying to encourage all our small MSMEs to come on board GEM and participate in the wider marketplace that GEM provides. So we are all here to facilitate them. And GEM has been shown huge improvement. It has been very proactive in bringing in improvements, and I am sure that it will also grow in the times to come and take care of all the issues that are still persisting and go on to become a India-wide marketplace for MSMEs. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your detailed deliberations on GEM. May I now request Sri Rajiv Shekhar Sahu, Convener ICC Odisha Finance and Taxation Committee. Sri Rajiv Shekhar Sahu.
Rajiv sir, kindly unmute. You are on mute, sir. Rajiv sir, kindly.
Just unmute it.
Unmute you, sir.
Unmute it.
Okay. Sri Raghu, Dr. S.K. Sahu, Sri Ramchandra Sahu, Sri M.C. Thomas, Sri Mohit Gupta, Sri S.K. Kamra, Sri Sudhanshu Pradhan, Sri J.B. Pani, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I must thank ICC for this initiative for bringing the GEM platform to the forefront of the audience, people who matters, and MSME. And as you all know, the GEM portal has been active from 2016. And now people, more and more people have been in touch with and utilizing the GEM portal. And though it is in the evolution stage, I think over the period, it will evolve into one of the best platform for the benefit on a e-platform that will avoid any unnecessary movement of people in a transparent manner, in an honest manner, and all the regulatory process, including payment to the MSMEs, can be done in a quick time and within the regulatory framework. The GEM registered business in India play an important role in building Atmanirbhar Bharat propagated by Government of India, and we need to be Atmanirbhar Bharat in the quickest possible time in order to promote our products, our entrepreneurs, our organization, and make our product more visible, and we have to be vocal to support, and that can substitute the import to a large extent, especially where the substitute in our own production base is available. I think based on the recommendation of group of secretaries in 2016, GEM came into existence. The platform provides the opportunity to sellers to set competitive marketplace as well as awareness of demand of products and services in which they operate their business. GEM, though, is evolving. I'm sure over the period of time, almost every product will be sold through this GEM portal, which will also create a hassle-free movement of product and services, and also create a transparent and honest approach to the entire process, which is very important, especially in our system. GEM portal introduced the Udyog Aadhaar self-facilitated registration to promote MSME sector in India and help MSMEs to get better business opportunities in just few clicks with minimal marketing and advertising expenses. In fact, I must tell you that MSME has to work in a very competitive market, and therefore to avoid as much of cost as possible, GEM is the right platform. And once the MSME sector is able to work with the least cost and avoidable expenses, I think there will be more promotion of MSMEs in the true sense. GEM portal provides paperless and contactless business opportunity to Indian sellers under ease of doing business in India, especially during the COVID-19 period when movement is not possible. And this is also going to help in promotion and elaborate display of the Indian products, and especially the MSMEs, which cannot spend much money on the advertisement. GEM offers contactless, paperless, and cashless registration, direct access to over 43,000 buyers organizations, no middleman, sell directly to Government of India, timely payments efforts are being made, but we must ensure, and one of the reasons why the MSMEs many times in the past have failed is that they have not received their payment. And I think just providing bank finance to them as a substitute for the receivables may not be a solution because it carries a high cost. And beyond a point, the banks also will not finance. Even though I must tell you that MSMEs continues to suffer from accessing finance, and even if they are able to access at the right cost, they don't get it. And the harassment caused by the bankers in the process must be eliminated in order to promote MSMEs in the true sense. Once we make the process easy, I am sure the multiplication of MSMEs will move very fast. There are many entrepreneurs who suffer from the inaccessibility of bank funds, which is very essential. And therefore, along with propagating GEM and MSMEs, it is very essential. Especially, I will request Director of Industries, if he can facilitate this ease of process between the MSME entrepreneurs and the banks, so that the hassles caused by not providing the funds will be eliminated, and that will go a long way in helping the MSMEs to expand at the right time. And when funds are not available at the right time, then you cannot take advantage of the opportunity that comes. Opportunities don't come every day. The MSMEs have found a platform where they can sell their products to the government. And in this context, Odisha government has to be more proactive in order to encourage not only the GEM platform, but also the MSMEs in the true sense of the term, and ensure that the payment is well within the 45 days period. And if payment is not made to MSMEs, then obviously the results are before us, that they don't find the growth prospect, their survival becomes questionable, especially in the context of Odisha, where we need more and more MSMEs. Why MSMEs are more important? apart from the growth, apart from contribution to GDP, I think the employment, which is our major concern in the country, has to be done through MSMEs, because large industries, highly mechanized industries will be able to produce, but they don't generate as much of employment as the MSMEs can, the engineering sector can. So the ease of doing business, facilitating money for them and making them grow at the right pace is very important. And therefore, this particular seminar organized by ICC will further boost the MSME sector, but we must work in a tangible manner wherein the MSME entrepreneurs get proper forum to represent their grievances and get the rightful justice. And government being one of the major consumer and purchaser, there has to be the least distance between the MSME sector and the government. I hope that in future, not only JAM will mature into the best platform, the MSME sector will be getting the right growth in order to make India the Atmanirbhar Bharat, and also will be able to sustain growth and help India grow much faster than the current regime. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir, for your detailed deliberations. May I now request Mr. Sri Ramchandra Sahu, DGM Odisha RO NABARD. Sri Ramchandra Sahu.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Maniji?
Yes, sir. You're
Thank
very
you.
much audible.
Thank you. I welcome all of you on behalf of NABARD, respected G. Raghu, Director MSME, Rajiv Ji, Mr. Thomas, Chairman ICC, Mr. Pani, Co-Chairman ICC, Dr. Sahu, MSME Director, Sri Pradhan from JAM, and Kamraji, and all the delegates, all the panelists, as also the participants in this e-conference. I welcome all of you from on behalf of NABARD. As all of you know that NABARD, from the day of inception, from 1982, has been working for development of farm and non-farm sector, particularly addressing the needs of the rural people. And to address some of the issues, NABARD, we have developed many of credit as well as promotional interventions, particularly in the recent for the last 2 years, NABARD has been working on promotion of the clusters, particularly the artisans working in handloom and handicraft sector, to bring them in the group mode, that is off-farm producer organizations in the line of farmers producer organizations. And this is one of the platform for their collectivization of their business activities as well as marketing of their finished products. And if you'll see, in case of Odisha, we have 5 OFPOs as on date, 2 in handloom sector and 3 in handicraft sector. And we have from NABARD, we have our DDMs, our district level officials. They are district development managers. They are working, and particularly to address the off-farm sector development. And that is another need for the rural people, that is how to fine-tune their skill so as to the uneducated, that educated unemployed youth would get some employment opportunities. But for that, have been supporting the NSEC approved institutes as well as RCTs, Rural Self-Employment Training Institutes, for imparting skill-based training programs so that they can establish their own units or they can earn their wages by with their skills. So that is skill development, and if you'll see all India, we have so far we have trained some 9 lakh entrepreneurs through some 3,500 training programs, and in Odisha last year itself we have trained 1,044 entrepreneurs in different parts of Odisha on different activities. Similarly, for marketing of the products, we have small interventions right from the block level to the district level or state level. That is, maybe it is a SHG or an artisan or a group of artisans to sell their products in the market itself where they are living, and to have a marketplace. So we are supporting rural marts. For establishing the rural mart, initial the costs and other expenses have been supported by NABARD by way of grant. Also, we are providing the infrastructure support from rural hearts, and particularly to address the needs of the farmers, the producers, and the artisans. They can sell their produce in the nearby market and get their that is to help them that marketing. And NABARD also supports for geographical indications of some products by way of supporting the pre-registration and post-registration facilities. Besides for marketing interventions, as we have the exhibitions and melas throughout the year, but this year because of COVID, so far no melas or exhibitions have been conducted. But otherwise, it is all over Odisha. We have been supporting the artisans to sell their products there, just to know that what is the market response and what the customers require, and accordingly they can redesign their products and fine-tune their products to the market demand. And besides, inside Odisha, they have been also exposed to or deputed to other states for some exhibitions. That is, as far as marketing part is concerned. And besides this, NABARD as a development financial institutions, and to comply with the Government of India guidelines also, so we have our DDM offices have been designated as stand-up connect centers to provide guidance to the budding entrepreneurs, particularly SC, ST and women entrepreneurs, to avail the credit and get their units established in their area where they live. Recently, NABARD has supported some agri-business incubation centers. These agri-business incubation centers in universities or similar type of institutions like IITs, OUATs or agriculture universities, where they provide the inputs to the startups, particularly the new entrepreneurs who are new to the system and who are technically expertise, and their technical expertise can be utilized by the farmers as well as the rural artisans, particularly in their design, development or their marketing aspects. For this also, we have been supporting this ABICs, Agri-Business Incubation Centers, and we also support catalytic capital to the budding startups, because initial days startups find it difficult to get finance from the investors or from the banks. To help them to venture into establish their new ventures, the NABARD supports them initially through ABICs, that Agri-Business Incubation Centers, initial capital to establish their commercial ventures. So these are certain initiatives, promotional initiatives by NABARD in the off-farm sector activities. Besides, we have been providing support for the artisans for their livelihood and income generating activity by way of providing some grant support, particularly on a cluster basis, so that they can use particularly they can fine tune their knowledge and develop themselves to create products which are accessible to market. So as this platform gives a very good scope for all the artisans, the entrepreneurs, and also our OFPOs, particularly the weavers and the other artisans who are linked to this OFPOs, so they will get benefited. So I want to know that how our OFPOs can be benefited through this GEM portal and how they can be connected with the GEM portal, because what we have seen for the last, even if they are very young, these OPOs they have completed 1 year, but over 1 year they have a turnover to the extent of 6 lakh to 9 lakh. That OPOs. So how we can connect these OPOs that often producer organizations so that they can market or they can sell their produce in this electronic market platform. And also whether this individual entrepreneurs, they can access this GEM portal. So these are two requirements that I want to know from Mr. Pradhan when he will make a presentation. So I thank ICC for giving NABARD opportunity for deliberating on this issue and to give some highlight on the interventions that NABARD has been doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your extensive deliberations. We would now request Dr. S.K. Sahu, Director in charge MSME DI, Ministry of MSME, Government of India. Dr. S.K. Sahu.
Thank you, Mohit Gupta sir. Thank you very much. Is it audible?
Yes, very much audible, sir.
Okay. So, good afternoon to all the panelists and the participants in this e-seminar on Vocal for Local, Public Procurement Opportunities for MSMEs through GEM platform. On behalf of the Government of India, Ministry of MSME, I convey my thanks to ICC, who is organizing this e-seminar for the benefit. I also convey my sincere thanks to the chief guest, Sri Raghuji, the Director of Industries, all the panelist members, Sri Rajiv Shekhar Sahu, Ramchandra Sahu, and Sri A.K. Kamra, Sudhanshu Babu from that facilitator from GEM Business, and of course the organizer side, Mr. M.C. Thomas and Sri J.B. Pani from ICC. So first of all, I, on behalf of MSME Development Institute, since MSME is playing a pivotal role for the economic growth and development, and all the panelists having the same opinion, they are contributing significantly for the nation's growth and for exports, for marketing, for credit, for GDP and other things. I am not going for highlighting such things. And two issues what Pani Saab was telling, there are mainly two issues involving or concerning to MSME sector. One is credit and another is marketing. If we are having the credit facilities very well, and if we are having the marketing strategy for the MSME entrepreneurs or the MSME units, definitely they can excel as a whole, and absolutely no problem for these entrepreneurs. So for marketing, both internal marketing and external marketing is there. And the Government of India is also taking a lot of initiatives for marketing for MSME products. And we are having MSME, Ministry of MSME is having one scheme, that is a public procurement policy. And recently from 2016, Government of India through Ministry of Commerce and Industry has taken a lot of initiative through this government e-marketplace. And since the GEM facilitator, Mr. Sudhanshu Babu is here, I just highlight a few things and definitely he will deliberate more on this. Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given a clarion call that government is committed to curbing corruption, and one of the key aspects of this objective is to minimize government human transactional interface. And e-platform procurement is now very vocal, and since the main theme is that vocal for local, and recently under Atmanirbhar package, our Prime Minister has given a clarion call that we should advocate our local products and how to penetrate these local products into the national as well as in the international market, so that our rural artisans, rural manufacturers, rural service providers, they can get a boost for which we can propagate the message, we can support, we can provide the handholding support for these entrepreneurs, and we can say we should be vocal for our local products. Considering this one, this government e-marketplace is a platform. Government of India has been provided a platform. This is a one-stop online, the previous one please. A one-stop online procurement portal for all government buyers, including central, state ministries, departments, then trade bodies, public sector undertakings, which has been launched by the Government of India on 9th August 2016. And any MSME or MSME people, they can upload their product, they can showcase their product in the website of www.gem.gov.in. As per Rule 149 of GFR amended to procurement of goods and services ministries or department, for goods and services available on GEM, and GEM aims to enhance efficiency and transparency and inclusiveness in public procurement, because since there is a physical transactional interface is not possible, only e-platform is there, that the buyer will choose the product and seller will supply the product as per the mandate, as per the price, as per the specification is available on the website. The buyers, it provides the tools of e-bidding, reverse auction, and direct procurement to facilitate government users to have the value of their money. More specifically, the key stakeholders of the GEM is that GEM SPV, then MSP, that a company has been contacted as the managed service provider by the GEM for design, development, and implementation, operation, and maintenance of government e-marketplace system, along with the Infibim for e-commerce, and Nextender for e-procurement, and Tata Consultancy Limited for cloud services is also there. Then the project management unit is there. They can provide the support. This is the internal stakeholders, they can provide the support, and external government system, that UIDAI, the Unique Identification Authority of India, then the Goods and Services Tax Network, GST, and Public Fund Management System, PFMS. Then the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has conceptualized an e-governance plan that would reflect India's goals for the 21st century, that is in terms of MCA 21 and PAN database. So these external government systems are also there. And the buyers, particularly for the GEM market, is central government, and state government, central public sector undertakings, state public sector undertakings, autonomous bodies, and other departments. And some of the sellers are also there, that is OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, MSC, different MSCs, that material science and engineering mission and service element, etc. There are all the MSC groups are there, the startups, the authorized resellers, service providers. They can play a very vital role for providing the products that are manufacturers and services in the seller side. There are some of the inspection systems are there, that is the Comptroller and Auditor General, Central Vigilance Commission, CVC, the Control General of author accounts, that is a CGDA, and the Right to Information Act, the inspection system is also there. And who can play the partners role? The bankers, the rating agencies, the 3PLs, and other commercial agencies. They can play a very vital role for accelerating this GEM mission and vision in the entire country. And if you can go for the statistics, how exactly the GEM system is working, you can see now there are 47,057 buyers are there, and from the seller sides they have already uploaded around 5,51,117, and 9,61,578 products have been uploaded in the GEM portal, and the total numbers of orders is around 47 lakhs, and gross merchandise value which has been transacted around 71 crores 137 crores. And you can see what is the transaction of this SME side, out of which that 125,007 9 MSE sellers and service providers are there, and the order value which has been transacted 71,107, out of which 57% is specifically from micro and small enterprises. And advantages for the sellers, and the sellers are not supposed to definitely the competition is there, but a doorstep arrangement that government has been provided, that is a direct access to all government. Then one-stop on products and services, dynamic pricing can be changed based on the market conditions, and a strong system is also there, and a new product suggestion facility to the sellers friendly dashboard for monitoring of supplies and payments, news and event solution for regular updates, and new one GEM shows the list of new product categories as you can add on. And this is specifically from the GEM side. One more slide is there after this public procurement policy from the Government of India, Ministry of MSME for micro and small enterprises. I will spell out on that. Under the MSME Act 2006, which has been enforced by the Ministry of MSME. Under that under section 11, category of section 11, that public procurement policy 2012 was in force, and which was amended from time to time. Earlier it was having the provision of that 20% mandatory procurement by the central public sector undertakings. Now in the 2018, 2nd November 2018, government has enhanced it 20% to 25% mandatory procurement from the MSME sector of goods and services by the central ministry department and all the central public sector undertakings, out of which that is 4% is reserved exclusively for the SC/ST entrepreneurs, and there was no such provision for the women entrepreneurs earlier, and 2018 has mandated 3% reservation for the women entrepreneurs, which has been giving a boost to the women entrepreneurs. They can supply their products and services to these agencies. More importantly, they can, those who are playing a very pivotal role for this marketing for the MSME sector, they can get the tender sets free of cost and exemption from earnest money. And when MSME is quoting price within a price band of L1 plus 15, generally who is the L1 in the bidding process, they can get the order. But in case of MSE, when L1 plus 15% is there for a level playing field, that they can get also the order of 25% of the tendered value, and subject to the lowering price of by the MSE. That is has been who has been provided that L1, the L1 plus 15%, which has been mandated by the MSE, they can supply up for 25%. And exclusively there are 358 items are reserved for MSCs for supplying to these central government and public sector undertakings. And more importantly, the multiple procurement options are there. Next slide, please. You can see that a direct purchase procurement management, how it is happening. The direct purchase, that is, if it is less than 25,000 in the Indian currency, then you can go for direct purchase. And if it is L1, that is more than 25,000 up to 5 crores, then you can go for tendering process. And now this Atmanirbhar package that government has banned for the foreign tenders, and the local manufacturers or the suppliers, they can get a boost under that Atmanirbhar package. And again, the bidding and RA system for this module bidding and RA module for the GEM is a tool for providing to the buyers for organizing bidding and RA form GEM sellers of the particular product category predefined requirement, that is quantity, technical parameters for goods services of the particular product category required for one or more buyers or consigns. Then intent of buying or PSC, that is buyers on the GEM wants to make a procurement on proprietary basis on the GEM portal after obtaining the requisition or approvals of PSC certificate from their competent authority as per Rule 166 of GFR 2017. The buyer can use this PSC filtering system provided by GEM for selecting a specific model to make available from particular GEM seller. Then another bid RA system, that procurement via bidding or the RA, this is from the seller side to get the best price quote. And then intent of a buying bid is that if objective is to go for a bidding only for bidding purpose, there is no need of a comparison. And if in case of intent of buying PSC, procurement of a specific product as per a requirement is also possible. Then what are the prerequisites for registration? Because a registration in of a MSC is very, very important unless and until you have to upload your product or your specification, your price, your catalog, whatever it may be. The outside buyer, they cannot access the product from the MSCs. So it is very simple that a prerequisite for registration is mandatory, that for primary user registration, and there are two types of registration, that is primary user registration and secondary user registration. For primary user registration, Aadhaar number or a virtual ID or a PAN of the user and a mobile number linked with Aadhaar mobile number in case of a PAN, active email ID, documents as per constitution type such as this is CIN or PAN or Udyog Aadhaar memorandum. Now it will be valid up to 31st March 2021, and everybody, those who are having Udyog Aadhaar memorandum, they have to migrate after 21st March 2021. They have to migrate to Udyam registration number. Then ITR details to complete profile, address details, registered address as per ITR, and bank account details. So this is for primary user registration. And for a secondary user registration, this Aadhaar number is required. Mobile number should be linked with Aadhaar and active email ID. There is nothing more specific documents is required. And the keynotes for this GEM portal or how to access, how to handle, how to give the order, and how you can compare the prices. The keynotes for the GEM registration is that the registration, that is a primary seller on GEM, should be done on an authorized person of the organization, that is a director of the organization or a key person or a authorized signatory of the ITR. Because after all, if some in future, if some confusion or some anomalies will happen, The director or the key person will address such issues, and the details of the authorized person will get validated as per the income tax return filing. Then a primary seller have an option to create a secondary seller to assign roles like next slide please. The like bid participation and a creation of a catalog and a order fulfillment. Then you for MSc Udyog Aadhaar memorandum now is Udyog registration. Mobile number linked with the same is required. And for startups that now Government of India that DPIIT, Department of Promotion and Industry and Internal Trade, they can do and they can provide the number and a mobile number linked with the same is required. And no separate registration required for seller or the service provider. So in a nutshell, that if we can use this platform very effectively, definitely MSCs, they can get a very marketing boost from this sector. And definitely because since the mandate is there from the government side, that we cannot purchase any material from the open market. So definitely they can take the advantage of this platform. And hopefully the MSCs and through this webinar or through ICC or the that MSME fraternity, we can help, we can provide the handholding support to these MSCs, and we can also change them. We can them that the artisans, the local people, the niche products which are specific, having some genuine qualities, we can upload such things for which they can get a marketing of their product. And during this coronavirus or COVID situation, definitely this will help for our local people. So thank you very much once again for organizing such a nice and befitting seminar for vocal for locals, and hopefully it will give a mileage to our local people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. S. Sahu, for your extensive presentation. May I now request Sri A.K. Kamra, Advisor, Procurement Policy and Contract Framework, and Nodal Officer for the State of Odisha, for sharing an insight. Jem.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon. Shri Raghu, Director Industries, Mr. Thomas, Mr. Pani, Dr. Sahu, Mr. Ramchandran Sahu, Shri Rajiv Shekhar Sahu ji, and the various sellers present in this August webinar. So at the outset, I would congratulate Indian Chamber of Commerce for organizing this webinar, which are very much needed for sharing the information, the ideas, to clear the doubts, misgivings, so that everyone gets benefited. And from the government perspective or from the GEM perspective, most importantly is to get the feedback or the suggestions from the industry and the other stakeholders, so that we can further improve upon and also enhance the various features and functionalities as required. So MSME is one amongst the most important sectors. They form the backbone of the Indian economy. They play a pivotal role, everybody knows. And the government is committed to take utmost care of this sector in terms of providing simplified registration process, removing the human intervention barriers, enabling financial institutions to give the easy loans at affordable interest rates, and also to provide the marketing support. And many incentive schemes have already been initiated by the Ministry of MSME and also by the state MSME units headquarters. And for that purpose, online Udyog Aadhaar registration and now the Udyam registration has already been implemented, and more than 1 crore MSME units are registered on the portal. And for the promotion of the MSME units and also for the marketing support, already public procurement policy for MSE Order 2012 is there, under the section 11 of the MSME Development Act. I will not go into this thing. Mr. Sahu has already explained in finer details about this particular policy. What I want to say is that in order to give the marketing support, particularly, and also the timely payments to the MSME sellers, I'm sure that the government e-marketplace launched by the Ministry of Commerce, that would extend a great help in carrying forward this mission. As you are aware that GEM is the National Public Procurement Portal and is an end-to-end, one-stop online marketplace for procurement of all the goods and services which are available on the portal for all the central, state, government, ministries, departments, CPSCs, PSUs, autonomous institutions, local bodies also. By Rule 149 of the GFR 2017, it has been made mandatory for all the central government departments, ministries, and the CPSCs. And as far as the state government organizations are concerned, they have already signed separate MOUs with GEM. Almost all the states and the UTs have signed, except barring one or two. And Odisha have also signed an MOU long back with GEM. And GEM is also supporting the state in all the issues wherever they come. And we have a dedicated business facilitator, Mr. Sudhanshu Pradhan, posted in Odisha state for day-to-day handholding and clearing the doubts. The platform was launched in the pilot version in 2016, August 2016, and thereafter we have scaled it up to version 2 and 3. And now we are going to scale it up to version 4 also. Very soon, it is likely to be launched, the version 4.0. And this is basically to cater to the requirements and business expectations of diversified stakeholders across the country. Already, a large number of the CPSCs have also onboarded on GEM, and they are also making a lot of requests for creating the product categories for them, and more than 4,000 categories have been created very recently in the last 5-6 months for the CPSCs. And the major CPSCs from the coal sector, oil sector, power sector, they are also giving commitment to make procurement through the GEM portal. And recently, GAIL have issued a tender of 330 crores for the line pipes, for procurement of the line pipes. And they will go for the reverse auction as well. The overall procurement is now of the order of about 71,000 crores, and we have about 5.51 lakh sellers and service providers on the portal. There are about 8,000 product categories and about 125 services. And the details of the new functionalities which we are going to add in GEM 4.0, of course, will be presented by my colleague in the presentation. The prime objective behind the development of GEM was to make the public procurement user-friendly and to give ease of doing business to the sellers, minimizing the human interventions. It also aimed at relieving the government buyers from the rigmarole of the complex, tedious, and time-consuming manual procurement processes, and to cut down the administrative costs as well as the delays. The greatest achievement during the last 2 years was last 3-4 years is basically the huge savings to the buyers with sizable reduction in the overall transaction cost compared to the previous procurements. All the automobile sector, all your vehicles or the paratroopers or the army requirements are now available on the GEM, and at a very, very competitive price. We have negotiated a special discount with the automobile industry, and 12.5% discount is available across the vehicles. And in some of the multi-utility vehicles or the buses, we have a discount of even 20% over the list price which they are selling in the market. Unlike the other e-procurement portals where only publishing of the bids and receipt of bids is done, and other processes after the receipt of the bids and placement of the contracts and the post-contract management is done offline. But in GEM portal, the entire process is end-to-end online, right from the registration of the sellers, then uploading of the products, participation in the bids, placement of a contract, supply of goods, then updation of the portal, payments, all are done online. So there is 100% transparency, fairness, efficiency, and accountability in the public procurement. GEM is a totally open platform, and it promotes the inclusiveness and is accessible to all the buyers, sellers, and service providers hailing from every nook and corner of the country. We have already 5.5 lakh sellers registered on the portal. The seller registration is done through a simple online process. No tedious processes involved. In fact, for the MSME sector, we have already, in the new Udyam portal, we are asking for a confirmation from the concerned MSMEs whether you wish to register on GEM portal, and once they will say yes, so their data through the API will be directly taken on the GEM portal. So half of the data will be available on the portal, and they have to complete the other information, and the registration will be done. So this we have already tied up with the MSME ministry. GEM fully supports the government flagship programs, just to give a boost to the Make in India and encourage MSMEs, startups, self-help groups, women entrepreneurs, artisans, and weavers to directly register on GEM and start doing the transactions. For the benefit of procurement from this portal, what we have done is that the government policies are there. We have the Make in India policy, we have the public procurement policy for the MSC 2012 order. So, and also the state policies are there for the MSCs. So we have enabled the various additional terms and conditions clauses in the bidding system so that a buyer can come and select that particular clause and reserve any quantity for the MSC. Now, as per the Public Procurement Policy Order 2012, every central ministry or the department, they have to earmark about 25% of their total budget, procurement budget for the MSCs, out of which 4% is for the SC/ST and 3% is for women entrepreneurs. And say, for example, for some of the things they want to procure 100% from the MSC. So we have a functionality available on the GEM portal. So when they will select the ATC clause, they can write, yes, 100% I want to buy through the MSC, or 4% through the women entrepreneurs, or 3% for the ST and SC/ST entrepreneurs. Similarly, the state governments may have different policies for the MSCs. They can also come on the portal. They can say, yes, we want to reserve say 50% for the state MSCs. And also the purchase preference, they may have a different, may not be having 15%. They may have 20% or 25% or 40%. Gujarat is having 50%. So they can mention, yes, 50% will be the purchase preference. So anybody, any MSC of the state falling within 50% or 20% purchase preference, they will be asked to match the L1 price. And that matching happens on the portal online. So this functionality we have developed, and all the Make in India policy is also there for the Make in India user, where only class 1 and class 2 local suppliers are eligible to bid for less than 200 crores, or even where the nodal ministry notifies that this particular item is to be purchased only from the class 1 local suppliers, so they can reserve so, and this bid will be reserved for the class 1 local suppliers. So this we have also the additional terms and conditions implemented on the portal, and the straightaway the bids can be created. All the buyers and sellers have been provided with the dashboards, and they can see the status of the various bids, RAs, including monitoring of supplies, payments, directly on the dashboard. They have not to run anywhere. So the information gets reflected on the real-time basis. They can see whether the CRAC has been issued, what is the payment status, whether the payment has come. So they can see everything. Even the dashboards have also been provided to all the primary buyers who are senior to the buyers, as well as the secretaries or the financial advisors, the chief secretaries in the state, so they can also monitor the entire procurement happening in the particular ministry or in the department. In respect to the PSUs, the dashboards have been provided to the CMDs of the PSUs and also the Director of Finance of the CPSUs. The GEM platform actually is an online system. It removes all the role of the human interface as well as the intermediaries. Therefore, it results in the corruption-free governance. And this is the prime objective of the government as well as our Honorable Prime Minister. The biggest advantage of transacting on the GEM portal for the MSME units is, number one, is that all the MSME units who are manufacturers and they are exempted from payment of AMD if they are registered with the Udyog Aadhaar portal or the GEM portal. This is the first biggest advantage. If they are registered for that particular category of products, so they will be exempted for the EMD. Secondly, issue is that they will get the purchase preference policy will be automatically implemented for those sellers. And within 50% purchase preference, if there is one MSC seller, so he will be asked to match urban price. If there are more than one MSC seller, then the order will be distributed as per the policy, or whatever is the policy in the state governments. The biggest advantage of transacting on the GeM portal is the timely payments. And after the discussions with the expenditure and the cabinet secretariat, we have decided the payment will be paid maximum within 10 days of issue of the CRAC. That is consigned in the receipt cum acceptance certificate, and that PRC has to be issued within, again, a timeline of 2 days, and thereafter the CRAC within 10 days. And the system is that within 2 days, the PRC should be issued, provisional receipt certificate, and within 10 days, the CRAC should be issued, and then the payment has to be made within 10 days. And now the notification has also come that in case the payment will be delayed, the buyers will be penalized with 1% interest per month beyond 10 days. And another notification, a detailed office memorandum has been issued by the Ministry of Finance on 23rd of January 2020, which we are going to implement very soon. Half of it has already been implemented, other part will be implemented. As per that particular order, if the payment is not released, or if the PRC or the CRC are not issued, then the system will auto-generate the PRC as well as the CRC. That is the first milestone in the payments. If the buyer doesn't issue the CRC or the PRC, say for example, you cannot claim the payments. So if he doesn't issue the PRC or the CRC within this stipulated timeline, the system will keep on sending the alerts to the buyer, to the senior officers and everybody. If again they do not issue the CRC or the PRC, the system will auto-generate the CRC and PRC, and the buyer will have 2 days time to really say that CRC whether it's correct or not. And in the GPA system of payments, which we are insisting for all the non-PFMS entities like all the PSUs and other state government organizations, in that cases, all the payments will have to be first transferred in the GPA account. It should not happen that once you have made the supplies, MSME sellers have made the supplies, and then they are running around for getting the payments. Normally, the question is, most of the organizations say, no, we don't have the funds at the moment, so we cannot make the payments. So they have to block the funds, they have to earmark the funds first in the GPA, funds will be available, and the payments will be triggered from that. In the GPA system, Ministry of Finance have issued another guideline that in case, after the issue of the CRAC, the buyer is not making the payment, the system will auto-trigger 80% payment directly into the seller's account. And after 10 days from the CRAC, and in case the balance payment of 20% is not made within 35 days, the system will also auto-trigger that balance payment also, so that the timeline of 45 days in case of the MSCs is largely met. The GeM has also done integration with the TREDS platform for e-discounting of bills. All the 3 TREDS platforms which are there in the country, we have already done the integration, and soon the bill discounting will also start for the MSME units. We are also making an attempt to register all the MSME sellers transacting with the CPSCs in the first phase. We have already got a list from majority of the CPSCs, which are the companies, MSME units who are trading with them. And we are also following up regularly with them to register on the portal. And we have also taken an API interface with the Udyogadar as well as with the portal. And we will try to register the maximum MSC sellers in the time to come, another 6 months time, directly on the portal. We are also trying to register about 50 lakh handloom weavers on the portal. We have already registered about 86,000. And the Weaver Service Center dialogue is already on, and they are pushing more and more weavers on the portal. We have also registered artisans. About 8,000 artisans are directly registered on the portal for the handloom products, and 56 artisan centers, they are following up with the handloom units to directly come on and register on the portal. So I would say that GeM portal is a major step towards e-governance and is ushering a paradigm shift in the way the government has been managing its procurement functions. It fulfills the government motto to promote the minimum government and maximum governance. I think with this I will conclude and will request Sudhanshu to give a detailed presentation, and thereafter we will have the question answer sessions. Thank you.
Mr. Roy, request you to give me the sharing access by which I can share my screen. Thank you.
For your extensive presentation, sir. Mr. Sudhanshu Pradhan is being requested for his PowerPoint presentation. And with this, I would also request the attendees, in case you have any query, please put those queries in the chat box. We will have a question answer session after the PowerPoint presentation is completed, so that your queries can be easily given answers. So I would request everybody to put their questions in the chat box. Now, please, Mr. Sudhanshu Pradhan, please carry on.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Roy. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Sudhanshu Pradhan, and I'm the business facilitator for the state of Odisha for government e-marketplace. So we'll start my presentation. Already since many more things spoken by Kamra sir, A.K. Kamra sir, and Dr. Sahu also given presentation about the process, introduction and statistics. So we'll start from the registration process directly. So to register as a seller, with the prerequisite, you will come for registration. You will open www.gem.gov.in and click on sign up as a seller. So review terms and conditions. Then after reading the terms and conditions, follow the process. First of all, you have to decide you will register with your Aadhaar or personal PAN, either by personal Aadhaar or personal PAN. So here, you have to remember that the owner's credential, when the key person of the company's credential, you need to give, like the Aadhaar number of the owner or the PAN number, personal PAN number of the owner, you have to give it, and you have to give the mobile number which is linked with Aadhaar. Then you can proceed for OTP. Once Aadhaar is verified, then you click on next, and you have to give your mail ID. So mail ID simultaneously you have to verify, like you have verified the Aadhaar. The same way you can verify the mail ID. And after that, give the user ID and create the password. So this is the very simple step. So now you are registered. So this is the first step. Basically, you have to do a lot more work. Like you have to complete your profile after the registration. So once you are registered, then you will log into your account with your created user ID as well as password. So log into your account, click on my account section, and once you click on my account, from the left hand side you can see in the screen different options are there. So from top to bottom you have to complete every mandatory field. Like the company profile means the date of incorporation of the company. You have to select that date of incorporation, and after that office location asks for your ITR. If you are a manufacturer, you can add the address 2 times. If you have 2 separate address, you can write. One is for register address. So the first one basically for register address, and the second one is for manufacturing address. If you are a manufacturer, then the 2 address or 2 times you have to enter the address. One is for register address, and the one is for manufacturing address. After the office location, you have to give the bank account detail with IFSC code. You will get the payment into that account. So once the bank account is done, then system will ask to give you ITR, income tax return file. If your company is more than 2 years old, then this ITR detail is mandatory. Mandatorily, you have to give the ITR detail, income tax return. So you have to take the information from the ITR form itself. So what system is asking, like ITR, in the ITR detail, sales gross receipt, or whatever the detail, sales and gross receipt, profit and gain from business, acknowledgement number, some more details system will ask you. So you have to follow that ITR form and you have to fill it. It will be validated. So once the ITR is done, you have to complete your profile basically up to 100%. So then only you are eligible to upload the product or services what you are offering. So next, I can say once your profile is completed, like all the details you have given, as I said. So next step is vendor assessment. Vendor assessment is a assessment basically, and which is mandatory for the OEM, not mandatory for the traders and service providers. So those are manufacturers, maybe the MSC manufacturers or the manufacturers of any product. So they have to mandatorily go through this process, vendor assessment. Then only system will recognize that they are a OEM for this certain category. So there are two types of assessment. One is paid assessment, one is free assessment. Means if you are falling under exemption category, so there is a policy document you can see, and the instruction is written very clearly for that policy document. So it is recommended and requested to read the policy document very carefully. And if you are falling under exemption category, like if you are a NSIC registered seller, or if you are a central state government seller, JET certified seller, if your turnover is more than 500 crores, if you have a BIS, Bureau of Indian Standard license for the particular product which you are manufacturing, so in this case you are falling under exemption category, and simply you can click on assessment exemption. Other than that, you have to go for paid assessment, and your QCI Quality Council of India is doing this vendor assessment for. So this is the process basically for OEM. Mandatorily you have to go through this process. So once your profile is completed and your vendor assessment is done as a OEM, then you can go for to upload the product. So this process in JEM is called catalog management. This product upload process. This catalog management system enables the sellers and service providers to broadcast their products, services, price changes, and to introduce new items. So basically, this is the system. You have to upload your product, then only system will come to know these are the products or services whichever you are selling. So people will come to know, government entities will come to know about this. So this is really mandatory and required. If you upload the product, then only you will start getting bid information, reverse auction information like this. So the process I will explain you. First of all, after completing the profile 100%, you have to log into your account. Log into your account, and you can see catalog is one option. So from the catalog, if you click on catalog, you can find product and service. If you are dealing with product, you can click on product or service. You can click on service. So after clicking on product or service, click on new offering, add new offering. So if you click on add new offering, screen will like this will open, and in the box you have to write the name of the category, name of the product which you are dealing, or name of the service which you are dealing. So once you write some keywords, then system will in the drop down system will recommend you some available categories on JEM portal, available products on JEM portal. So you have to click on the appropriate product which you want to upload. So if the category is not available which you are dealing, if the category is available and you are not, the specifications which you are dealing and the specifications which JEM is having is not matching, then you can request to JEM to add a new category or upgrade the category. So you can see while uploading in the product, so system will prompt that if you are not able to find the category which you are dealing, then you can create a new category by requesting to JEM, or else you can upgrade the specification, upgrade that category. So if category is available there, so fill the details, the mandatory details you have to fill, and the non-mandatory details are there also. If you required, you can fill. So after that, you can see certain brands for that particular product. Brands are available, registered brands are available. So if your brand is available, so you can select that brand, or else if you have a trademark brand, trademark product, so you can add the brand. You can request JEM to add that brand. Then once that brand is added, then only you can able to proceed with that upload under that particular brand. If you do not have a brand, trademark brand, then there is no issue at all. You can select the unbranded product and you can go ahead with the product upload process. So other details, after selecting the brand or unbrand kind of thing, you have to fill all the other details. So there is a option called to create a clone category also. So if the specifications which JEM is having, if it is exactly matching with the specifications which you are offering, then you can create a clone category. That option also visible. This is a new functionality recently developed. And then fill all the mandatory details which available on the portal, and the non-mandatory details if required for you to fill, then you can fill that. So after filling all the details, certification and all, then system will show you the product which is available on JEM. If any particular product is available on JEM, or the product which you have selected, then system will show you. If that kind of product is not uploaded on GEM, then you have to proceed with new item. So if you once you click on proceed with new item, system will prompt you to add some more things, give some more details like model number, product name, description about the product. So these are the mandatory details which you need to fill, and some video URL. This is not mandatory. If it is there, if you want to give, then you can give that. So if any bid is running in that particular category, to do it on priority basis, you can select yes, and if you have the information of the bid number, you can give it there. So GEM will come to know that there is a bid. So your process will be prioritized. So in this way, you can upload a product. So after that, all the mandatory information you have to give, whatever system is asking. After that, system will ask you two things. You are selling product as. If you are selling the product as a OEM, then you have to click that OEM. And once you click on OEM, you have to give some information like country of origin and some other mandatory details. But system will guide you whatever the details you need to enter. And if you are not selling as a OEM, if you are selling as a reseller, then from the drop down you have to select the reseller option, and you have to give the authorization detail. Then the authorization number, authorization agency, authorization date, authorization validity. This authorization detail you can get it from the OEM, from the brand, owner of the brand, owner of the company against which you are trading in the market. So you can get those, and those OEMs must be present in the GEM portal. Then only they can authorize you. If they are not present, on behalf of them, you also can add your product, add that product into the market by taking all the details, all the authorization details, all the details as a OEM. You can give all the information. So you can take those information basically from the OEM if you're selling the product as a reseller. So after filling this information, system will ask you to give the MRP and the offer price. So what the MRP you will give here, the system, it is really mandatory to give the 10% discount from that MRP. It is mandatory. If you do not give 10% discount, you are not able to go ahead with the product upload process. So this is 10% discount you have to give it here. And if required, if you want to give the slab discount for different slabs, that also you can give. That option is also there. And the delivery locations. After giving the price, MRP, offer price, MRP, and slab discount, if you want to give, then this also you can give. Then the delivery location. So delivery locations you have to select like the state-wise locations. If any particular state you want to supply, or some nearby states you want to supply, you are capable to supply those states. So you can select as per your capability. But if you are selecting some state or any state, but if you are not able to deliver, then it is really you'll be in problem. So because you are wasting the time of the buyer, they're placing the order. So it is really highly recommended, wherever you are comfortable, choose that location. If in a particular state, if you want to choose the pin code wise or district wise, that also option is also available on GEM. So district wise also you can supply this product. So after selecting the locations, system will ask you to give the stock information. What are the stock? What is the stock do you have with you? Current stock that you have to give, and minimum quantity for consignments. What are the minimum order? Suppose 10, 20 or 15, whatever the minimum quantity you want to give, you can give it here. When below to 10 quantity, if you give here 10, minimum quantity as 10, then below 10 order will not come to you. So 10 and above order, you will receive those orders. And the lead time for direct purchase, what are the minimum days required? You can required to dispatch the product. That information also you can give it here. So after filling all the details, you can click on save and proceed. So once you click on save and proceed, last step, system will ask you to upload the photographs. System is allowing to upload 3 photographs. Basically, there are guidelines to upload the photograph. Follow the guidelines, like 3 different photographs you have to give from three different angle of that particular product, and about the size. And you do not write any personal information into that photograph, like your email ID, mobile number, and all. So follow the guidelines, upload the photographs, click on save and proceed. So once you click on save and proceed, then you have to read the terms and conditions, review terms and conditions, read it carefully, acknowledge, and click on publish. So once you click on publish, actually you can view that also. Now catalog is just, you have uploaded that catalog, you have uploaded that particular product, then it will go for approval to the admin team. So once the admin team is approved that product, your product is published. Now it is visible in the market, so that you can check the status of your product. If you click on catalog, click on search my offering, so this screen will visible like this. The screen will visible, and if you click on publish, then you can see, you can check that what are the products published and what are the products rejected by the admin, and reason of rejection must be written there. So once if you come to know the reason of rejection, then rectify that reason of rejection and re-upload once again, or rectify that one and upload once again. So it will be uploaded. If it is published, there is no issue. So it is published now, it is visible in the market, and you will start getting bids and direct orders to your profile, to your dashboard, that you have to be in touch with your login. So you can check under bid section, you can see the different bids running for that particular product in pan-India basis. Who are all the departments in the state or any other state that you can see. So in direct purchase mode also, that also you can, if you get any order, that also you can view and you can supply. In direct purchase, basically it is highly recommended that in direct purchase or L1 purchase up to 5 lakh rupees, or from 0 to 5 lakh rupees, 0 to 25,000 rupees, do not reject or accept all the orders always, and supply those products, because you are only acknowledge that you have this much of stock with this much of price, this location you are going to supply. So only those basis of those information which you have given, you will get the order and you have to supply. And bid is up to you. If you are okay with that terms and conditions, you have to read the bid document carefully. If you are okay with the terms and conditions, then only you can participate in a bid. So once you participate in a bid, or you materialize any order under direct procurement, then you have to generate the invoice. The online itself, you have to generate the invoice. So once you generate the invoice, then only the buyer organization able to generate the CRAC. If you have not generated the invoice, then they are not able to generate the CRAC. So it is your job, basically your last job, to generate the invoice, whichever order you have materialized. So you generate the invoice, segregator, tax, CGST, IGST, whatever the tax segregation is there, and mode of dispatch, how you have delivered, how the product you have dispatched, and any tracking detail is there for that product. So during creation of the invoice, you will get the information. Basically, it's a system-driven platform. You will get the guidance from the system itself, and you will act accordingly. So these are some new features and upcoming features that I can explain you. So now GeM 4.0 version is running. GeM 4.0 version is really smarter, better, intelligent, and more inclusive. New software process have been implemented to enhance and improve the platform for taking GeM to next level. A technology roadmap involving analytics, hyperledger with smart contracts using blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. Revamped user interface. So these are the features of basically GeM 4.0. Some features are already implemented, and some features are yet to implement, and work is going on. So these are the features I just want to highlight. This feature, this 4.0 is also having revamped user interface using user experience, advanced analytics, NLP based search engine, ease of payment and timely payment. As Sir said, Kamra Sir said that regarding the timely payment, GeM's taken many steps, and auto CRAC and auto PRC also enabled. So that penalty also imposed. Those people are intentionally doing late to give give payment to the seller. So customized dashboard is there. You can see dashboard. You can see the bids and with statistics, bid, RA, direct orders, whatever materialized, whatever orders you have materialized, that you can see. So dedicated concern for dedicated corner for CPSEs and large buyers. So crowdsourcing sellers categories. With that crowdsourcing sellers is the one also option is also now running. If any category is not there in the GeM portal, then that you can place a request to add that particular category to GeM admin, and that category or any upgradation of the specification, if category is available, whichever you are dealing, that also you can request to GEM and they can add that categories. So it's a unified procurement system, faster and focused creation of categories, product and services, ease of login and authentication for buyers, integrated workflow system with buyer department, demand aggregation, staggered delivery. Staggered delivery is nowadays also live, and the buyers can select this clause from the ATC GEM additional terms and conditions. Redesigned and bidding module. These are the features of GEM 4.0. Hyperledger for smart contracts. Also some more features that I can tell you, that making the OEMs responsible for their product catalog ID and ensuring quality, revamping the bidding process for L1, measures for ensuring price sanity in the marketplace, vendor assessment for OEM and reseller, buyer specific ATC additional terms and conditions. So these features are available. Efficient help desk with voice of customer. This is also a new initiative taken. Faster issue resolution through dashboard leading to the higher satisfaction level for the buyers and sellers. Streamlining compliance from social media and email. Context sensitive virtual assistant. Chatbot to reduce help desk burdens. Incident management. There is the incident management policies there. If you face any incident as a seller, you can raise the incident, whether it is product, whether it is related to CRAC or any other issue, that is there. So these are the features, basically. Some more features like for craftsmen, artisans, weavers. This also process is going on. This is basically this process is actively going on for the SHG, the like self-help groups also can able to register. From Odisha state also many artisan, weavers and self-help group also started getting orders, which I'm getting information about it. So this initiative also taken by the GEM. So there are many more features available in GEM 4.0. So this there are many more features, as I said, and lot more things to say, but we have little time given to us to present. So I can request you that as a seller, you can go to the training module. If you open to the portal www.gem.gov.in, so you have to come to the footer, extreme down, and there you can see training is one section. Under training, you have to select training module. So if you click on training module, then definitely there are different modules available from the buyer point of view as well as seller point of view. If you click on seller, then starting from introduction to the product upload and clone category creation, EMD, EPBG, for every detail, there are video formats are available, video guides are there, as well as PDF document training materials are there. So you can get trained from there. So if you read the FAQ section, which is available under need help, then you can get the specific answer for your specific question. And in fact, if you read FAQ, then 90% of your doubts will get clear. So there is a dedicated help desk mail ID as well as dedicated numbers are available. You can speak from morning 8 a.m. to morning 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday, evening 8 p.m. to Monday to Saturday to the help desk team. And live chat system is there, so that you can chat with the GEM agent directly. So these are the support systems, and you can stay connected with GEM by social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. So this is this is the link by which you can give the attendance and the feedback of this session, this webinar, about this webinar. So your feedback is really valuable to us. Feedback and suggestions, you can give your attendance as well as feedback. So this is all about from my side, and thank you so much for listening to me. And now you can ask your question.
Thank you very much, Sudhanshu, for your extensive presentation. It was really nice that you spoke in details about all the points related to GEM. Now, may I request the attendees to put your questions in the chat box so that we can answer them. attendees को रिक्वेस्ट किया जाता है, अगर आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चंस हो, आप अपने क्वेश्चंस को चैट बॉक्स में रखिए, हम लोग उसका जवाब देंगे.
I would like to answer 2-3 questions which Mr. Raghu had raised. I think I should answer those also.
अच्छा.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please carry on.
Mr. Raghu had raised 2-3 points. Number one was that the MSME units competing with the traders of the bigger companies. But the policy says that within the L1 plus 15% price band, purchase preference will be applicable. They have to match the price of that bidder and get the order. So that advantage is available. EMD exemption is available because all those resellers or the dealers will have to pay the EMD because they're not exempted. So that financial benefit is also available with the MSEs. And the purchase preference policy, which is announced by the central ministry, so they get an advantage of price matching. And also the state government policies, they're also implementable on the portal very easily. And if they keep a price band of say 30% or 40%, that can also be easily adjusted on the portal, and then it can be implemented. Second question was regarding the delay. If delay occurs, what is the penalty and all that? Then there is a standard penalty of 0.5% per week in case the supplies are delayed beyond the delivery period, which is original delivery period or the refixed delivery period, and that penalty is imposable easily. The next is in the system, we have one thing that they have to supply and install everything within that delivery period. Now, with the implementation of the new order which has come from Ministry of Finance, we will allow the timeline payments also. First you supply, you will get 90% payment or 80% payment and balance 10% after installation. The delivery period for installation will also be different. Accordingly, the LD will be leviable only on the installation portion. So that is also being under implementation. The timeline payment system and also the stage payment system and stage deliveries. So that will be implementable and different CRACs will be issued. So with that, I think the major problem will also be resolved. Next is regarding the dispute resolution mechanism. We have the detailed incident management policy in case there are certain issues relating to the quality or the seller has misled the buyer or he has given some misleading information in the bid or anything. So the buyer can raise an incident against the seller. Similarly, seller can also raise an incident against the buyer if he's not getting the payment, if CRAC has not been issued timely, or his goods have been rejected without assigning any proper reason. He can also raise an incident. And then our deputy CEO and the additional CEOs are there to monitor all those incidents and take suitable action against the buyer or also even the seller. The buyer are also red flagged. They cannot transact no more with the GEM portal if they have so many incidents pending. So all those issues are there. And similarly, sellers are also debarred for a particular period if the incident is of grave nature or of serious nature or like that. So there is a detailed incident management policy already written over there. And in case of certain disputes, say for example, we in GTC we have recommended that besides the incident management policy where the administrative action will be taken by the GEM against the buyer or the seller, but there could be financial implication. For that, they have to refer the dispute to the arbitration clause, or they can have a conciliation committee in the organization with the particular seller. They can reconcile, and whatever is the arrangement, any financial implication they can negotiate, that can be paid by the seller. Or say, for example, still it is not in agreement, so they can go for the arbitration clause. Buyer can also go, the seller can also go and settle through the arbitration. I think these were the main issues which were raised by Mr. Raghu. And as far as the registration is concerned, it is very simple registration. I think sellers who have already registered on the portal, they will tell in how much time they got themselves registered. It is just half an hour process. And particularly once we will have an API interface with the GEM portal, we will pre-populate most of the information which will be there already in the GEM portal, and they will have to fill up few more entries regarding their profile and registration will be through. Now we can have the other question answers.
Sir, I wanted to ask one small question.
Yes.
That is, recently you're going to start, already started this GEM 4.0.
Yes.
Which are the additional features which has been added in the GEM 4.0? If you compare with the previous one.
No, Abhi, what we have done is we have refined many processes. The bidding module we have refined, and we are refining more. What we have done is we have included the staggered delivery period because the PSUs have a requirement of deliveries coming for 6 months or 9 months or 1 year. So they will have staggered delivery period. They can mention monthly delivery schedule. They can specify through the ATC, and accordingly can have the delivery schedule and also impose the liquid damages. The other important feature is we have given the bid protest system. Suppose a bid is issued by a buyer and you find that the specifications are favoring a particular seller or the specifications are not proper, they are not generalized. You can raise protest against the bid. Online protest, the buyer has to dispose of all those protests. Second important what we have done is the challenge system. Now, after the technical evaluation, the 48 hours time window will be available. In case he has rejected some of the sellers on reasons which are not justifiable or on wrong reasons or on flimsy reasons, or suppose he had the BIS, the buyer had said to the BIS was not proper, any reason, then you can also, that 48 hours window will be available wherein you can challenge his rejection and buyer has to dispose of all those challenges and then only open the financial bids. So that is a major change which we have recently brought. Another thing is regarding the crowdsourcing of sellers. Many sellers were requesting that there are many categories. Normally, GEM portal is buyer driven. So we request the buyers to give the categories which are to be created on the portal. And we get the detailed specifications from the buyer. And then we have a CCM consultative committee meeting with the industry. And then we finalize the specifications. But for the sellers also, we have opened up the new window. It is crowdsourcing of sellers, wherein the sellers can also request the category creation. These are the categories which they are dealing with, and this is the potential. And these are the other sellers who are in the competition. And this is the likely value of procurement by the government. And they can also request for the creation of the categories. We have revamped the help desk to a great extent. Because of the Corona period, there is an issue, but we have revamped the help desk. We have the GEM Chatty box. We are putting the advanced analytics at the background, wherein the creation. Now, the new system is that any buyer organization, particularly central government or the ministry or the PSUs, if they want to procure outside GEM, they have to generate a GEM availability report from the system mandatorily. And they have to code that ID number while floating it through the CPP portal, Central Public Procurement Portal. So for that, we have put in the advanced analytics in place so that he can easily find out whether that category is available or not. So that is on NLP based search system. And next is what we are going to introduce very recently is that there is a requirement from all the CPSCs and the buyers to float the bids item wise and make evaluation item wise evaluation. We have a system wherein we can have a bunch bidding of many items like CCTV camera system you want to buy, you can bunch various items and then float a bid and evaluation will be done for the entire bunch. But here, suppose you want to buy so many bearings, you want to buy 100 type of bearings, then you can evaluate item-wise evaluation can be done. So that system we are going to bring in so that whosoever is L1 for certain items, the order can be placed for those items and then like that it can be done. So this we are introducing. We are going to revamp the seller rating system. We will introduce the seller rating also based on their performance, based on their quality and other parameters. So that is also being revamped. Incident management policy, we are revamping. We are introducing system of the appeal also. Suppose some action has been taken against you, you can appeal also. And also your past performance will be considered while taking any action. Suppose your performance is 95% and you had got one instance. On that basis, you should not be debarred for 3 months. Your performance will be considered and you will be debarred only for 5 to 7 days or 10 days based on your performance. That performance rating we are also bringing in. And then we are also creating dedicated pages for the CPSCs or for the defense buyers like that. And we are also introducing buyer and seller incentive schemes. Suppose you are a very good seller, then incentive scheme will be that your product will be approved on priority, something like that. That we are also bringing in. And you will also given the trophies like that. And the
Thank you, sir.
Haji.
In case you have any other questions, please put up the questions. But sir, I don't find anybody asking any questions right now. So, so thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Kamra, for your answering our questions, and also Sudhanshu for the very, very nice and extensive presentation on GEM. May I now request Sri Mohit Gupta, co-convener ICC Odisha MSME Committee, to give his vote of thanks. Sri Mohit Gupta, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, very much.
Yes.
Audible.
On behalf of Indian Chamber of Commerce and entire supporting sponsoring organizations, audience, and very hearty vote of thanks to all speakers for gracing today's webinar and sharing with us your findings and opinions. A big thank you to Mr. MC Thomas, Chairman ICC Odisha State Council, for his efforts towards attending this session from his busy schedule and chair this session. Our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri G. Raghu, IAS, Government of Odisha, Dr. S.K. Sahu, Director, VC MSME Development Institute, Cuttack, Ministry of MSME, Government of India, Shri Ramchandra Sahu, DGM, Odisha, RO NABARD, Shri A.B. Pani, Co-Chairman, ICC Odisha State Council, Mr. Rajesh Shekhar, Convener, ICC Odisha Finance and Taxation Committee. I would also heartily thank Shri S.K. Kamra, Advisor, Procurement Policy and Contract Framework and GEM Nodal Officer for Odisha, and Shri Sudhanshu Pradhan, GEM Business Facilitator, Odisha, for excellent presentations. We are grateful to GEM for elaborating the points in detail mentioned in the slides. I also thank our co-partners for the event, NABARD and Fortune Power, for extending their cooperation during these difficult times. I am thankful to all the participants for their involvement in attending the seminar from their busy schedule. I congratulate them for their involvement and their willingness to take on the completion of tasks beyond their comfort zones. Before concluding, my best wishes for the remaining 2 e-seminars on the same topic, giving focus on the state of Manipur and Mizoram on 6th October and Nagaland and Arunachal Pradesh on 13th October 2020. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Shri Mohit Gupta, for your vote of thanks. So, after the vote of thanks,
Thank you.
Very much for
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to everybody who had attended. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.